viewers, it's such a wonderful pleasure to be here with you this evening. My name is Emmanuel and I'm just greatly humbled to start this little conversation with you. It takes us about 60 minutes and it's about shadows. Shadow, 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 where are you? Here I am. I am shadow. I am shadow. I am visible. I am invisible. Everyone, everything has a shadow. It grows and matures with us as the day moves on, changing in lengths and angles, from birth to death. My shadow stays with me, appearing and disappearing. When I'm invisible, I am under you, and we call that midday. When I am longest, I am impressive, and we call this dawn or twilight. The shadow is that part of us, that part of our story and memory we are not proud of. That part of our experience we are not very comfortable with. That haunts us, scares us, makes us shiver, revealing our doubts and uncertainties. Shadow, you make us question our outcomes. You are really hard to bear at times, shadow. We resign and surrender to you as we realize shadow will always be there with us. Bring us your shadows. Bring us your shadows. Let's converse with your shadow and let's learn to converse with our shadow. Finally, let them come to rest. Finally, let them build a purpose in our lives. And as we go through the valley of the shadow of death, we should fear no evil. What a wonderful statement. And that, of course, is because you have no shadow without the light. And so you fear no evil, no matter the complexity of your shadow, because the light that brings the shadow is always with you. The program Shadows is a reflection that has been going on for many years. And this reflection has actually crystallized into Shadows, which is an exploration of our different lives. And we will be sharing quite some insights, pointings, and teachings from some of the greatest masters, good number of them who are still treading the earth. So Shadows will be reflecting on the teachings of the five senses that will explore how the human mind works and how we encounter, live, and move around with our respective challenges, to explain all the emotional impacts that influence our lives and how through the five senses the world actually torments, uplifts, creates doubts in us, teaches us, and improves on our outcomes. We'll be reflecting also on how we can use knowledge that has existed for thousands of years in practical ways to address the different emotional dynamics that sometimes can be very, very challenging. The program Shadows will be coming to you every 9:30 p.m. on Fridays with a rebroadcast on Sundays in the afternoon. And this program will give you opportunities to also question some of the challenges that are going through your lives now. And don't forget, you can always send us a WhatsApp message on the number you have on your screen, and we'll read some of them, and we may even reflect on some of them, so that we can be guided by your challenges in the reflections. I'm Emmanuel CHIANGONG. I'm a clinical counselor, a mind-body therapist, and a beauty consultant. I work in different dimensions of the mental health, and we'll be using some of the experiences that we encounter in our daily lives to share and uplift you. In the program Shadows, we will listen to the Master. Today we have Donald Neil Walsh, who will be talking to us. And he's just a wonderful guy that I want you people to discover. Most of these people will be part of your research and personal development. And so he will be developing some topics, and we will comment after this development, and also you'll be able to get your reflections on what you feel about those teachings. Remember, it's an open program which is meant to uplift us. So your views are equally very, very, very important. We'll be open to sharing them as you send your comments on the WhatsApp number you have up there. We will also have a book review, because Shadows will be introducing us back to books, to reading, to gathering knowledge, wisdom over thousands and thousands of years that are crystallized in pages. We'll talk about the number of books. We have some here that we will comment at. And then there is also what we call sacred music. Sacred music is taking us into the power of sound. And the power of sound will be able to demonstrate some of them we have around us that we can use to heal ourselves. And in sacred music today, we'll be discussing and listening to one of the greatest composers of our contemporary time that touches the spirit in a very special way. He's called Yanni. And we'll also comment a bit on his work and how his philosophy of one world, one nation, one people, and the love that does not stop on boundaries that are geographical, love beyond boundaries. And these are all fine energies that we will be introducing ourselves to, because we need to be nourished and have elements by which we can keep nourishing ourselves when we go through the different valleys of the shadows of death. And of course, that will come to round up the program on shadows when we listen to this, and we will have to introduce you to the Tibetan bowl, which is a very special therapeutic sound with magical effects beyond your imagination. We have the light, and we have the essence, the power of smell, that can be a very essential element in healing for different types of challenges. And we will discuss a little bit about these elements, introducing these aspects to you, so that as we go through this journey, you will be developing a lot of knowledge. So we'll be having our first element on the wisdom that is taught through this great thinker and spiritual leader, Donald Neil Walsh.
Six-year-old, but I had that attitude when I was 29. For the first 50 years of my life, Vishen, I thought that my life was about me. I had the attitude of a 10-year-old or a 9-year-old or a 6-year-old, but I had that attitude when I was 29 or 39. I thought I wasn't a bad person. I'm not trying to paint myself as this horrible individual, but I was fairly self-centered. I was looking at my own career, my own goals, my own objectives, my own needs, my own wants, my own desires. I tried to be even-handed about it. If somebody helped me out, I tried to give back if I could, and all those things that we're taught to do, but basically my life was focused on me. Fascinatingly, even though my life was focused on me virtually all the time, my life wasn't working. I mean, at some point in my life, I really got, gosh, I can't seem to find happiness that lasts more than a little while. I can't seem to find success that lasts more than a little while. Everything is so ephemeral. It just comes in and goes out, comes in and goes out. I never seem to get anywhere to the top of the mountain. When is the struggle over? That's what I was experiencing when I had my first conversation with God. So that's the context, that's the background why I was given that wisdom, because I asked God, okay, obviously there's something here I don't understand. I've listened to what my daddy told me, I listened to what my mommy told me, I listened to what my religion told me, I listened to what my culture told me, but there's some missing data. I felt that there was just some information that was missing. So I said to God, what is it? What is it that I don't understand here? The understanding of which would change everything. And God said to me, Neil, it's really very simple. And then she said what you just said here. Neil, your life is not about you. Your life is about everyone else whose life you touch and the way in which you touch it. And I said, well, I don't understand. I'm supposed to give up everything that I ever wanted or desired or hoped for, or give up all of my goals, all of my objectives. And she said, no, I didn't say that. I didn't say that. You don't have to set aside all of your goals, set aside all of your objectives, set aside all of the things, all of your desires. No, I didn't say that. But it's about achieving them, working toward them, moving toward them in a whole different way for a whole different reason. If you're doing those things to enrich the lives of everyone whose life you touch, watch the world fall in on you with wonder and joy and celebration. But if you're doing those things together, to gather, get, have more, that you just you just want to get as much as you can for yourself. If that's your prime motivation, you're going to be struggling every day for the rest of your life. So just, but you're so, I said, but I have to, I got a family to take care of, I've got a life to live, I got to put a roof over my head, I've got to solve all these problems. And, God said to me, Neil, don't go around asking, what are we to eat? What are we to drink? Wherewithal will we clothe ourselves? Seek ye first the kingdom of God, and all these things will be added unto you. And the kingdom of God that you're seeking is the experience of your oneness, your singularity, your unity, your melding with every other person and every other thing in life. That's heaven. Heaven is the experience of never feeling separate from anyone or anything ever again. So when I say your life is about everyone whose life you touch, I'm really saying your life is about you, but big you, universal you, not this little package that you call you over here, not local you and your little puny wants and little puny desires. Play in the sandbox of life if you want to. But your life is about big you, the you that encompasses everyone and everything. And in that sense, your life is about everyone and everything you touch and the way in which you touch it, because the way in which you touch everyone else is the way in which life will touch you. What goes around comes around. Or someone said very clearly, do unto others as you would have it done unto you. Because it will be done unto you, I promise. What you send out will come back to you. Life has no choice. That's simply the way it works.
What about moments when we're feeling down or depressed? What can we do to get in that state of understanding that our life is about others?
Find someone else who's down and depressed and give them what you want for yourself. If you want to get out of being down and depressed, take someone else out of their depression. If you want to have more abundance, provide more abundance for someone else. Whatever you want in your life, cause someone else to have in theirs. Be the source. The magic formula to get out of any bad space is to help someone else who's in the same kind of space get out of it. What God said to me was, Neil, this is really very simple. The formula is ridiculously simple. Whatever you want to experience in your life, the end of a bad mood, or whatever it is you want to experience, cause someone else who is having the same experience you're having and trying to figure out how to end it, be the cause of their ending their bad experience. So whatever you want more of in your life, cause someone else to have more of. If you want more people to be more patient with you, be more patient with others. If you want more humor in your life, bring more humor into the life of others. If you want more joy in your life, bring more joy into the life of others.
Wow. If joy into the lives of others. If you want less pain in your life, bring less pain in the lives of others. If you want more sleep in your life, bring more sleep in the life of others. This is such a wonderful lesson. Do unto others as you will have them do unto you. These great lessons are coming from one whose story is very impressive. We will certainly make a journey with Donald, because I have one of his works here, The New Revelation, A Conversation with God. This is a wonderful journey, and we will discuss some more about it when we start the book review. And Donald actually was a normal American citizen who would like to have a good time, get a good wife, make a family, have a good job, go for rock and roll, have a good weekend, but everything went sour in his life. And he was like, I have done everything that I'm asked to do. I went to Sunday school, I went to church service, I take communion, I worship God, I listen to the teachings of my mother and my father. I get all the lessons that life is teaching me, the constitution of my country, the regulations and rules of my college. I pass my exams, I go to work early, I obey, just like all of us do. But sometimes it's like God has missed on us. It's like, how can I explain? I remember this young lady in therapy telling me, Niema, she always calls me Niema. I hope you're watching. And she says, why do I always have to struggle? Why can things not just come my way like they come to others? Why do I have to struggle? Why can I just go for the first time and I make it? Why do I have to do it 100? Why some things that, people just have the things they want. And for me, I'll have to ask and wait and pray and ask before it comes. So Neil was in this situation, and he was really having it hot and bitter. And he said, I've done everything. He got married, he couldn't work, he divorced, he got 3 times Donald Neil Walsh. And in his bitterness and in his exclamation, I remember this story of David who was running away from Saul. I always tell this story to my friends. He ran and he became so tired. And he said, okay, I'm not running again. He fell down, sat there and said, God, that's fine. I'm not running. Saul, come and kill me. I'm tired of running. I can't spend my whole life running. And he slept. And when he got up, he had rested. Ravens came and fed him, gave him to drink, and he had the energy and he continued running. That's how he became the king, one of the greatest kings we know in the Bible story. So, in his exasperation, Donald screamed, God, what do you want from me? What do you want me to do? He said, it's not about you, Donald. It's not about you. Your life is not about you. Your life is about everybody else. How can that be? Which means I won't pay my rent, I won't feed, I won't pay my children's school fees, I won't go to work, I won't be able to contribute in community activities, in my church group and help. He said, that's not what I mean. You will do all of that. But listen, your focus should be about changing lives. Those things that you need so much, others need them as well. As you provide for them, you will find the answers. It's so magical. Can we all try this? Can we just try? But I know many of us, most of us have done it. I'm sure most of you found yourself in Donald's story, and I'm sure most of you have been in that situation as well. I'm sure. And if you still think it's about you, then just try to look beyond your nose. See what is happening opposite you. When you feel so frustrated by the life in your home, the quarrels, by the fact that you don't have electricity, just go on the window. You're on the second, third floor. Look over your window out into the surrounding habitations and see homes that don't have roofs. See homes that don't have windows. Just look around as you are worried about the school's fees of your children, just look through the window and see children running around who don't even have any school to go to. Some of them running naked without a dress, some who haven't eaten for the day. As you start recognizing the abundance of need around you, your own worries become so small that you resolve them easily. We have to try it. And I think at any level, even when we go one step, we will have a challenge for the one-step people, and we will have to go the second step. So we will, and I will also, try it. Life is not about you. It's about every other person. As you bring the worries that are hurting in your deepest of your heart into solutions for others' worries, peace will come to you. As you feed others, you will feed yourself. As you provide others to drink, your thirst will be quenched. As you provide for others, your needs will be accomplished. So beautiful. Let's try it. We are not through yet with Donald, but remember, the gentleman, Mind Valley, was the one having this discussion with Donald. Mind Valley is a name for you to keep and to watch out for. A lot of pointings and beautiful teachings come with Mind Valley as well. So we'll get our second element from Donald that will continue to uplift it on the elements on teachings.
So every act is an act of love, even if it's a distorted act of love.
So Neil, in your books, you speak about how everything is an act of love. And that seems like a really beautiful idea. But how can you reconcile that with what's happening in the world today? I mean, every day we read the news and there's more divisive politics, there's terrorism. How can everything be an act of love?
I was told in the Conversations with God books that every act is an act of love, and that's been true throughout human history. And what's clear and what's being made clear to us from that source of wisdom and clarity in the universe is that, number one, love is all there is. There's nothing else but love. There's only one energy in the universe, love. And love expresses itself in many forms. Fear, for instance, is an expression of love. Fear is love demonstrated in a particular way. For instance, if you love nothing, you'd fear nothing. So you only fear the loss of what you love or the not getting of what you love. But if you love nothing, you'd be afraid of nothing. You wouldn't even be afraid of dying if you didn't love living. The thief steals because he loves something so much that he wants to have it and doesn't think there's any other way to get it. So that's why he steals. The tyrant becomes a tyrant because he loves power so much and he doesn't know any other way to express it or to grab it, so he becomes a tyrant to claim it. So every act is an act of love, even if it's a distorted act of love. A distortion of love allows us to express our experience of love in a way that's not very loving to others. In other words, we do unto others what we would not want to have done unto us. And that's when you know that the act of love has been distorted. But even the terrorists in the world, if you ask them, why are you doing this? They will tell you that they love something. Perhaps it's a religious point of view, perhaps it's a political point of view, perhaps it's a mixture of both. Maybe they love a person, a leader who they're following. Whatever it is, maybe they just love a principle in life that they believe is so fundamental to who they are, that they love it with all their might. And they love it so much that they're willing to do things that are not appropriate to the human experience by the measurement of others in order to get it. But every act emerges as an act of love. So if we want to understand what's going on in the world, we simply say to people, wait a minute, what do you love so much that you're willing to hurt me in order to experience it? There's another way, by the way, to ask that similar question. What hurts you so much that you feel you have to hurt me in order to heal it? That's a powerful question. It's the same fundamental inquiry. But the reason that God doesn't have to forgive us for anything is because God understands that every act is an act of love, emerging from our love of something and expressed in a distorted way as only a primitive, young, immature species could possibly do. So God understands that we're very, very young as a species, and we are trying desperately to express our love for something, and we haven't yet learned how to do that in a way that we would like to have love expressed to us. But it's all an expression of love. So it's like a children who won't share his toys, or who takes his little sister's candy. You know, he takes the candy, not because he's a mean person, he's 3 years old, but he loves the candy. So he acts in an unloving way out of his love for the candy. No one does anything inappropriate given their model of the world.
And so we don't seek to heal or end this by fighting. We seek to end it by understanding.
Understanding replaces forgiveness in the mind of the master. The master never has to forgive anything because the master understands why an action was undertaken. And because she understands, forgiveness is not required for the same reason that God does not need to forgive us. So remember this always. Understanding replaces forgiveness in the mind of the master. The example I like to use is, let's say you're having a birthday party for your granddaughter. She's 3 years old, and all the children of the neighborhood have been invited in, and she's all excited, and the children are all around the table. The milk has been poured, the cake is being brought out, a big chocolate cake is being placed in the middle of the table, and the 3-year-old grandchild is so excited, oh my, chocolate cake, my favorite cake, and she reaches for it and knocks over all the milk. Her glass falls, the next glass falls, the next glass falls. Pretty soon the entire birthday table is a total mess. Now, Grandpa doesn't look at the 3-year-old child and say, it's okay, I forgive you. You don't forgive a 3-year-old. You understand. Not only do you not forgive a 3-year-old, you actually comfort her. You don't even think of punish. You don't say to her, go to your room. You'll stay in your room for the rest of the week. I'll teach you not to knock over the milk. So we don't talk to our children. And the reason we don't is we actually comfort the child so the child can know, there, it'll be all right. I know that you were just reaching for the cake. You were so excited because it's something you love. Understanding replaces forgiveness in the mind of the master. And so when you reach a level of spiritual mastery, you don't forgive the murderer, the rapist, the terrorist, the thief. You understand why they did what they did. You don't condone it. You're not approving of it. You're not agreeing with it, but you are understanding it. And understanding replaces forgiveness in the mind of the master. But also understanding helps you to bring an end to future demonstrations of that same behavior, because you're perfectly right. You can't end anger with anger. You can't end violence with violence. You're not going to stop killing with more killing. You cannot solve a problem with the same energy that created it. Einstein made that very clear. It's a matter of simple physics. So all we have to do is grow up and get to a place where we totally understand. We need to simply awaken. That's the point of the book. Conversations with God, Book 4, Awaken the Species. The point of the book is, shall we awaken? Is it time? Are we ready now?
Thank you, Neil. That's beautifully said. Hope you guys like that idea. Leave a comment if you've read any of Neil's books. If you want to share the wisdom, the insights you got from the books with other people who are thinking about getting to the Conversations with God book series, please leave a comment and let others know. Thank you for tuning in.
Wow, sometimes he said it all, but I don't know. I have Shirley Monjoa Confirm, confirm, confirm. Thank you, Shirley, for watching. And it's just beautiful to know that you confirm this. And it's so beautiful. What else can we add to this message, which is so touching and impressive? What else can we add? You know, look at this example he gave of the grandparents saying to the little baby, I understand. Most of the time we say we forgive babies. You know, I think I've been guilty of that as well. You know, sometimes we think we really have to discipline children. I think Neil is saying we have to guide them. We have to walk by the side to make sure they stay straight and grow up to understand what we understand. And Neil, in 9 versions of Conversation with God, he has written over 3,000 pages. I think that there's a lot of reading to do, and I'm sure a good number of you will be going on your, you know, books now, or book ordering, you know, to get some of these versions, starting with Conversation with God 1. Go through the story gradually. And Neil is actually pointing out, yes, I know it's difficult. I know it can be really, really difficult for us to say he placed the bomb and I lost family members and tears. I know that a lot of people don't have the patience, but this is how we think when we are pissed off, when we are angry, but that is one of our lowest moods. And he's saying, let us grow up and refine the human race to a point when we can understand the enemy. Who did it best? Jesus. Father, forgive them, for they know not what they are doing. They don't know what they are doing. He understood. And it's good to hear Neil saying this, not from the point of view of Jesus, but bringing us examples of daily life, that the terrorists, out of love for their belief, their concept, destroyed, killed. And that we have to understand them, because if we go with violence, it will just be a vicious cycle, and that explains where the war is today. Really, really vicious cycle. It explains it. Beautiful. So we'll continue to watch out for good, lots of great minds like Neil. We have so many of them. Wendaya, we have Thich Nhat Chan, we have Edgar Tolle, you know, Moji, Ravi Shankar, great minds still walking the earth, and a good number of them in Cameroon as well. I will be watching out for them. This area where we're having the discussion and we're using lectures from our guides and masters and friends, people who have inspired us, will also be open for guests. So sometimes we'll have them on the platform to discuss these issues of our daily lives as we go through the valley of the shadow of death, fearing no evil, because the light that causes the shadow is with us. The light is here. If there is no light, there is no shadow. You can actually try it. When there's no light, we don't see the shadow. So when you see the shadow, which carries your worries, your pestilence, your anger, your violence, your doubts, your frustrations, and sometimes your hidden little tricks, know the light is around to uplift you. We'll have a little break, and we will certainly come back to live some more beautiful experience with a second concept, which is sacred music. As I said, we'll be listening to Yanni, who is going to bring us some beautiful collection of symphonies, his philosophy about life, oneness, the importance of community life, of the same body, just like Neil is saying, living in different colors, in different tradition and cultures, the artificial boundaries that no birds know. When the birds fly from one continent to another, they don't ask for visas. Birds don't take visas. When a deer runs across Cameroon into what you call Nigeria, they don't see any frontier. All they see is land, trees, and air. Only men have been strange enough to be able to create barriers. And as a matter of fact, as you fly in the air, from one nation to another. You see no lines like on the maps. There are no lines. And so anyway, these are some of the things I want us to be reflecting about. We'll be reflecting about. So we have a short break, and we'll move on to sacred songs. And in sacred songs, we will certainly listen to a great mind as well, Yanni. So our next element will be a concert that was staged by Yanni. Yanni is a Greek composer, pianist, musical wizard who is American but from Greek origin, and he plays in some of the most sacred and special parts in the world. Like, he will go to the pyramids in the desert, and there he will stage a concert. He will go to the Acropolis in Greece. He will go to the Taj Mahal. He will go to China in the Forbidden City. He will go to the Kremlin. So he goes to some of those magical sites in the world where he actually sets up a big studio, and he plays in a very contemporary style, using musicians from all nationalities, and of course bringing in fusions of jazz, classical music, and new age world music. Listen to Yanni, you will just love it.
The next piece of music, believe it or not, was inspired by a nightingale. I often listen to nature because I learn balance from listening to nature. I remember a few years ago I was in Venice, Italy, and one of these birds kept coming by my window every sunset, and she proceeded to sing her song. And it was so beautiful, I was completely mesmerized by it. These birds have such a tremendous vocabulary and rhythms and melodies. And I thought, what a pity that we couldn't communicate, or we couldn't speak each other's language. It wasn't until many years later, when I was introduced to the Chinese flute, that I realized that this instrument, particularly in the higher registers, has a lot of the tonal characteristics of the nightingale. And so I decided to write a song using the Chinese flute. The song will begin with our Venezuelan friend, whom you met a little earlier tonight, Pedro Eustache, playing the Chinese flute. It's called Nightingale, and I'd like to dedicate it to you.
think that when you listen to these discussions and you have to take this type of melodies into your subconscious mind, your sleep this night, of course, will be very special. If you have been following the program, please, you can reach us on the WhatsApp number you have there. Just let us know from where you're watching us and give your impressions in the light of appreciating what we are doing, contributing, giving your impression, and making suggestions. All of that will go a long way to give shadows more light. And it is our hope that at some point there will be no shadows as we go through the valley. There will be no shadow. This is the hope. That's why we are here, and that's why you're up watching. That's why you are not, jumping around and feeling some excitement just before going to bed. We pick up the excitement during the day and we go gradually, slowly, and by this time we are preparing to have a beautiful night. And there we had the Nightingale by Yanni, with this beautiful orchestra that has musicians from all over the world. He brings in people from all nationalities, and this is an excerpt from a big, great album that's called The Tribute that sold millions of copies around the world. Yanni is not going for commercial music, but it's so beautiful that he's always getting awards, and he's always being solicited. And you would, like I say, you find Yanni playing. I remember how I discovered Yanni. I was in La Défense, that was in Paris, and I was looking for beautiful paintings, some of these nice paintings we put in the spa, just to captivate the clients and give them a moment of peace and bliss as they come in to deliver their bodies for careful and professional soothing touch. And this sound kept haunting me as I was moving from one shop to the other. And at some point it was irresistible, and instead of looking for paintings is feeding the eyes, but the ears were just so powerful at this point. So I left the eyes to rest, and I said, let's go after the ears. And I walked into this shop. There were paintings, but I was not interested in the painting. And I asked this Iranian guy, who is playing that sound? He said, Yanni. I said, who is it? He said, you don't know Yanni? And there was such a funny look on his face. You don't know Yanni? It's just like, somebody's asking me, you don't know Etofis or Roger Mila or Thomas Kono, It's just like that. So you don't know Yanni? I said, of course I don't know. I listen to a lot of fine music, and he said, I'm going to offer you. This guy is just like Donald Watch. He got joy offering me a CD of Yanni. But that was not all. When I left, I went to FNAC to hunt for all collections of Yanni, and we have a great stock of them. Today, thanks to the internet and all of that, you can have Yanni by a touch on your phone. And this is beautiful music that brings in very strong emotional soothing effects, and the magical use of different types of instruments and the beautiful voices of those wonderful ladies that were out there to beef it on up. So this is it. And of course, that was Sacred Songs. Was it sacred? Did you feel something special, soothing, that brought you back into your inner self and gave you the desire to just want to let go and see no shadow as you are in the valley? Did you have that effect? I would like to know. Just give us a WhatsApp on 677856768. Send us a little message. Let us have your view on that. Yes, we'll have another little break, and of course there is the call for us to look at the aspects of some great works that have been written in the world of these wisdoms that we are trying to share. And I'm happy to say that of the books that I have here, two are by two Cameroonian ladies that are here. I will introduce you to the two of them, but I will take some time to develop on one of them, because we'll try to develop on one book every week, and that will give us, gradually the desire and the love for reading. And this is a beautiful call for us to move away from some of the distractions and excitement, the agitations that are taking place around us, and to be able to focus on, the messages that come in books, bookshops, libraries, daddy's corner of books, spending time to read. More and more, our children are not reading, and this is because we as parents, we are not reading. So I'm talking to parents now, a good number of them, and we will start reading and let children read, because if you control the books they read, you have already made their future for them, and you will have an old age that is very peaceful and loving. So we have a little break, and we will come back to what has been written in the books. Good. Talking about books, like we said, it is difficult for us to find youths reading today, and some lazy ones excuse me, they will tell you that in this book review they'll say, I read from the computer, I read from my phone. I mean, when we want to talk about books, I have this gentleman sitting here, and some of you may not know it, so discover. Good. And that we go. Yes, this way I can be able to have the light to read. I think there is so much light that reading becomes difficult. In our days, primary, secondary school, in that colony of CHIANGONG, with so many children running around, and we had to read. There were like 3 lamps in the whole house, and we had always in the 2 digits of children in the house, so starting from 10 upwards, go to where you want to end. And so there were no lights from the ceiling like we have in our homes today. There were like 3 or 4 lamps, and Papa and Mama Changon will sit in a corner and they will listen, they will be reading, and then what will happen? We will gather around these lights, and we will be able to read, and there was focus, there was no distraction. In the story on books, I will introduce you to Oser dire oui à l'univers, that is, dare say yes to the universe. And next week we will also develop Till Life Do Us Part by Dr. Biziwo Gloringwana, and Oser dire oui à l'univers by Ima M. Wonja, 2 Cameroonian ladies who have wonderful magical experiences to share with you. And as we come gradually to the close of this whole program, I would want to say watch out for next week when we will be treating these books. And if you have the opportunity to lay a hand on any of the copy, you start reading before we come to the end. And as I say, thank you very much. I say, let the light be with you, and there is this special sound from the Tibetan bowl that I will ring so that you have it in your mind, and that your sleep be really blissful. It was wonderful. I want to thank this wonderful and great television station, Maimeda Prime TV. I want to thank Mr. Leona, who supervised as general manager the whole preparation of the first edition of The Shadows. I give special thanks to Mr. Mike, the assistant, and also the manager of the programs. And I want to thank especially Mr. Johnson, who at the technical desk with Hassan. made these little magics come together. And for your humble self, Emmanuel CHIANGONG is my name, and I will always be open to discussing with you on the same WhatsApp you have there, and listen to this sound.